Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to our channel, Digital Future AI School. Kindly subscribe our channel, like and share with friends, and this is the episode 16 and chapter 16 of book AI, Your Smartest Partner in Life and Work, written by Mr. Zahir Ahmad Mir. All right, so with that, welcome everyone to the deep dive. Today, we've got a really substantial topic in front of us. We're looking at a deep exploration from Chapter 16 of AI, Your Smartest Partner in Life and Work by Mr. Zahir Ahmad Mir. And our focus is, well, it's the elephant in every single conference room right now. The future of work, jobs, and employment all being driven by artificial intelligence.
That's right. And it's a topic that, it generates a ton of anxiety out
That's
there.
right. But also maybe unprecedented opportunity.
Exactly. And that's what our listeners are looking for, I think, a signal in all the noise. And this source material doesn't just predict, doom and gloom or some perfect utopia. It really offers a critical, kind of actionable framework.
Right. So our mission today is to really get practical. We need to understand how individuals, how businesses, even how entire nations can start to reorganize themselves right now.
Right now. Not just to survive this massive AI wave, but to actually thrive in it.
So we're cutting through the panic. We're going to unpack exactly how AI is reshaping entire industries, and not over decades, but, in the next few years.
And crucially, what that means for you. What are the essential new skill sets you're going to need for professional success? What knowledge can you apply tomorrow? That's really the goal here.
Let's start with the sheer scale of this change, because the source material is really insistent on this point. This isn't just another upgrade, it's a foundational shift.
It is. I mean, if you look back at history, the Industrial Revolution, that took generations to fully play out.
Right, it was a slow burn. So what makes AI so fundamentally different from everything that's come before it?
It's two things, really. It's the velocity and the universality.
The speed and the reach.
Exactly. We've had these huge technological revolutions before, the steam engine, the printing press, electricity, but they all operated with certain constraints.
Like what?
Well, take electricity. It completely revolutionized manufacturing and home life, but its adoption was often limited. It was limited by infrastructure, by cost, by the specific needs of a local industry. AI, on the other hand, is transforming work faster because it's inherently digital and it's scalable.
The text makes this colossal claim, and I want to get your take on it. It suggests this shift is bigger than electricity, computers, the internet, and mobile phones combined. I mean, that's a staggering comparison.
It is, but there's a logic to it.
Yeah.
And that logic, that mechanism is what the source calls its general purpose, universal nature.
Okay, general purpose. Let's unpack that.
Think about the internet. It changed how we communicate, how we trade, but at its core, it was an information delivery system. It moved information.
A set of pipes.
A set of pipes, exactly. And a mobile phone just miniaturized that system, put it in your pocket. AI is totally different. It's a cognitive system.
A cognitive system. So it doesn't just improve one function, like speeding up a calculation.
Precisely. It improves the process of thought itself. And it does that across every single domain.
So can you elaborate on what those capabilities are? What makes it so different from, say, early factory automation?
Yeah, that's a great question. Those older tools were basically sophisticated levers or switches. They executed fixed logic that a human programmed. AI is, well, it's qualitatively different because it has these cognitive functions.
He thinks, in a way.
It learns. It learns from data, which allows it to improve without a human having to directly intervene. It can create totally novel content, text, images, even computer code. It analyzes massive, complex data sets to see patterns a human never could.
And automates.
It automates not just physical tasks, but complex, routine, intellectual work. And this is the critical part. It can reason. It can deduce logical outcomes from incomplete data. And it can actually collaborate with human workers.
So if electricity was an amplifier for our physical power, our muscles,
then AI is an amplifier of our intellectual capacity, our minds.
and that's why it gets everywhere so fast.
It enters every sector at the same time. Writing legal briefs, designing new drugs, optimizing shipping routes, scheduling hospital staff. No industry is immune, and, no geography is insulated from this.
Which leads directly to how the analysis frames AI's new identity in the workplace. It's not just a tool.
No, that conclusion is absolutely critical for our mindset. AI isn't just a piece of software you open like a word processor. The source really emphasizes that AI functions as a digital worker, a colleague, an assistant, and a partner.
A partner, that's a huge shift. It means businesses need to stop thinking about this as just another IT expense.
And start viewing it as a massive, scalable hiring decision.
The analogy of a colleague is powerful. I mean, if you hire a human colleague, they need training, a salary, benefits, they need to sleep.
A digital colleague just needs compute power. It never gets tired, it can scale its efforts infinitely, and its core competency processing data, recognizing patterns, is just so far beyond human capacity.
So when you bring AI into a workplace, you're not just getting a new tool.
You are instantly adding a highly capable team member who can handle an immense cognitive load at a speed that's just.
Hmm.
It's unparalleled. This is why the transformation is so dramatic. It's not a marginal productivity increase. It's a radical restructuring of the workforce itself, and it's all happening at light speed.
Of course, that sheer magnitude, that speed, it naturally sparks fear. Like you said, you look at the headlines, the comments online, and the number one anxiety is AI is going to take my job.
It is, and we need to address that head on.
How do we do that?
We do it by breaking down the anatomy of what a job actually is. That anxiety, it's rooted in this idea that a job title is this one big solid thing that could be just poof, replaced.
But the reality is much more nuanced.
Far more.
Okay, let's unpack this then with the clarity the source provides. The distinction we have to make is that AI does not replace jobs. It replaces tasks.
And internalizing that difference, really getting your head around it, is probably the single most important thing anyone can do right now to future-proof their career.
It's the bedrock of adaptation.
It is, because every single professional role, yours, mine, everyone's, is a complex bundle of different tasks. The source gives a really clear taxonomy. You have tasks that are repetitive, tasks that require creativity, ones that demand complex decision-making, emotional interaction, and of course, physical tasks.
And AI is really good at some of those, but terrible at others.
Almost completely incapable of others, yes.
Let's make this concrete. Let's use a real profession. Say I'm a mid-level financial analyst. My job title is the same today as it was last year, but what I actually do is changing.
Radically. Your job is a mix. A big chunk of it is probably repetitive, right? Compiling quarterly reports, cleaning up transaction data, updating spreadsheets for forecasting, answering basic compliance questions.
Sure, the grunt work.
The grunt work. But then another part is complex decision-making, like strategizing on how to allocate capital. And a final part is emotional and creative, pitching that strategy to a skeptical board of directors. AI focuses its automation efforts squarely on that first category.
On the repetitive stuff.
Exactly. So we need to focus on what AI is best at automating. That sheer volume of repetitive tasks and routine business functions that, they eat up our time, but they don't demand a lot of subjective judgment.
That is the primary target for this technology.
It is. We're talking about processes that are rule-based, data-intensive, and just plain routine. Think about an HR department. The initial screening of thousands of CVs, drafting standard job offer letters, processing payroll, managing vacation schedules, all of that is ripe for complete automation.
So let's get even more granular. What are some specific examples of tasks that are being automated away right now? Because these are the hours in the day that people need to start thinking about reclaiming.
The list is huge, and it's growing every day. It includes things like high-volume data entry, managing the endless flow of paperwork and documentation, doing basic comparative analysis, and generating routine report drafts.
Like a weekly sales summary or something?
A weekly sales summary, a system uptime report, exactly. Simple scheduling and calendar management, continuous system monitoring, and running basic customer service through chatbots that can handle all those simple Tier 1 questions.
So if you spend most of your day just inputting, tracking, or summarizing information that already exists somewhere else,
that time is about to be gifted back to you.
I can easily imagine a corporate setting where a junior professional might spend, 70% of their day just on those tasks.
Exactly.
And if that 70% is now automated, that creates a huge labor surplus if that person doesn't pivot.
And that is the pivot point. The automation of the low-value 70% isn't a firing offense. It's an opportunity. It frees up the human to dedicate 100% of their time to the high-value 30% that only they can do.
Which brings us to the irreplaceable human core. If AI is taking all the monotonous work, what are those essential skills that really define human value in the workplace? What can AI just not touch?
We're talking about skills that demand genuine subjective judgment, moral complexity, and, deep interpersonal savvy. And this list is crucial for career planning.
Okay, what's on it?
High-level ethics and moral reasoning. Visionary leadership that inspires real trust. Truly unprompted, strategic creativity that comes up with brand new solutions.
The kind of creativity that isn't just remixing what's already there.
Exactly. Then you have profound empathy and emotional intelligence, which you need for difficult conversations, complex negotiation that has to navigate shifting human variables, non-routine, complex problem solving where there's no historical data to go on.
So basically, anytime you're in uncharted territory.
Precisely. Also, long-term strategy development that has to consider geopolitical and human risk,
Yeah.
hands-on supervision of human teams, and maybe most fundamentally, just fostering genuine human connection and trust.
When I think about ethics, it's not just about following a set of rules. It's about deciding what the rules should be when you're in a gray area. AI can't have a moral compass, only a programmed one.
Exactly. And leadership isn't about giving orders. It's about managing human motivation and conflict. And that requires an empathy that is completely beyond any algorithm. You
Yeah.
can't automate inspiration. You can't automate that gut feeling a great negotiator has when they're reading the room.
So these skills are all built on complexity, on consciousness, on context.
Things AI fundamentally lacks.
So the rule of thumb becomes, if a task is automatable, delegate it to your AI colleague. If it requires high human stakes, emotional intelligence, or strategic foresight, that is your job now. That is your indispensable function.
That is the formula. And it leads to the conclusion that all the analysts are stressing. The future is not AI versus humans. Any attempt to compete directly with AI on speed or processing power is it's doomed. The only sustainable productive model is radical collaboration.
Humans plus AI.
Humans plus AI. The key to success is integration, supervision, and strategy. It's not competition.
That makes perfect sense. The goal is shifting from being efficient at doing the work to being efficient at directing the machine that does the work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A modern professional's value is now measured by their ability to leverage machine power, not by their ability to manually produce output.
Okay, so if the model is collaboration and replacing tasks, not jobs, then the structure of the entire job market is about to be, well, inverted.
Completely.
The source materials are actually really optimistic here. They suggest AI will create far more new jobs than it destroys, and many of them didn't even exist, 3 years ago?
And this is where the real opportunity is. I mean, history shows this pattern. The invention of the car, it decimated the buggy whip industry, sure.
Yeah.
But it created this massive new ecosystem of mechanics and road builders and oil producers and traffic lawyers.
Yeah.
AI is creating a similar ecosystem, but it's happening vastly faster. And we're seeing new roles pop up in two main categories: the people who build and refine the tech, and the people who apply and manage it every day.
Let's start with the first group, the engineers and developers, the people literally building the brain. What are the specific high-growth categories in AI engineering and development?
This area is just seeing exponential demand. Obviously, you have your AI engineers and your data scientists who are refining the models, but the real growth is in these highly specialized fields. We now need dedicated machine learning researchers who are focused on, say, multimodal AI or new foundational models.
And it's not just about building it, right? It's about controlling it.
Even more crucial, yes, the roles around governance and safety. We need AI safety specialists who build safeguards against misuse and bias and unintended consequences. We need AI ethics reviewers who make sure that the deployment meets societal standards.
And then there's the most famous new job title, the one that connects the super technical side with the average user, the prompt engineer.
The prompt engineer is the perfect example of this new hybrid worker. Their skill set is communication, creativity, and logic. They're experts in crafting these precise instructions or prompts to unlock the maximum quality from large language models.
And we should probably clarify, when we say large language model or LLM, that's the engine behind generative AI like ChatGPT. It's this massive statistical model that can generate human-like text or code.
Exactly. And prompt engineering is basically the art of learning how to speak the machine's language to get what you want.
That job title alone proves the future isn't just about being able to code. It's about conceptual clarity and using precise language.
It is. Which brings us to that second big category: AI operations and integration. These are the people who are responsible for turning all this theory into organizational reality.
What does that look like on the ground, that integration?
It's all about workflow. You need AI workflow designers who figure out how to integrate these AI agents into the existing corporate IT systems, making sure data flows correctly and securely. You need AI automation managers who are constantly looking for bottlenecks and then deploying AI to eliminate them.
So they're like efficiency experts for the digital workforce.
That's a great way to put it. And then crucially, you need AI system supervisors who oversee the whole fleet of digital workers, troubleshooting, scaling up, ensuring compliance, even roles like data labeling specialists, the people who make sure the training data is clean and accurate, that's expanding dramatically.
It sounds like the entire discipline of project management is being redefined. You're not managing human contractors anymore. You're managing digital agents.
The scale is just fundamentally different. And what's really fascinating is how this tech is also transforming existing fields, creating these new necessary sub-professions inside traditional industries.
Let's dig into that. Let's start with the creative industries. The common fear here is that AI just replaces the artist completely.
The source argues the exact opposite. AI is the ultimate creative amplifier. It moves the creator from being the laborious executor to being the visionary director.
So you're not the one holding the paintbrush anymore. You're telling the robot with the paintbrush what to do.
Sort of. We're seeing the rise of AI-assisted designers who can iterate through 1,000 different prototypes in the time it used to take to do one sketch. We have AI video creators who can generate full scenes and storyboards instantly, which allows the human to focus only on the narrative quality and the aesthetic curation.
So if I'm an architect, I don't spend weeks drawing elevations. I spend a few hours directing an AI to generate 10 complex variations, and my value shifts to choosing the one that's the most structurally sound and the most beautiful.
Precisely. You become the editor, the curator, the strategic visionary. And that acceleration also fuels new roles like AI marketing strategists, who can run these incredibly complex, customized campaigns, or AI product creators who can prototype new physical and digital goods at a speed we've never seen before.
What about a sector like education? How is AI impacting that?
Education is going through a profound structural change. AI allows for genuine, one-to-one personalization of learning, which means we need human experts to manage that system.
So we need AI tutors.
We need AI tutors who specialize in deploying these personalized learning models. We need curriculum designers for AI literacy to make sure students are being taught prompting and automation and ethics from a young age. The human teacher's role, it transitions from being the sole source of information to being a mentor, a guide, a supervisor of these AI learning environments.
And what about healthcare, where the stakes are, life and death?
The roles here are focused heavily on diagnostics and personalization. I mean, AI is never going to replace the surgeon's hand or the doctor's ethical duty to their patient, but it will revolutionize the analytical side of medicine.
Wow.
We'll need AI medical analysts who can process MRI scans, genetic data, patient histories, and minutes to flag potential diagnoses. These are AI diagnostic support roles. And this leads to these high-demand specialties like personalized medicine specialists who use AI insights to tailor drug dosages and treatment plans based on an individual's unique biology.
So it's all about collaboration, reducing human error, and speeding up decisions when time is critical.
Exactly.
Okay, that paints a very clear, very positive picture of growth and adaptation. But we have to look at the other side, the roles that will shrink or need to radically transform. Which professions are facing the most pressure right now?
The pressure is really concentrated where the human role is basically synonymous with just moving information around or simple data manipulation.
The human API.
The human API, yes.
Right.
This includes high-volume administrative roles like entry-level clerks, dedicated receptionists, complex schedulers. It also targets basic customer support, where chatbots and voice agents are now sophisticated enough to handle 80% of common questions.
And the data-heavy roles are also in the crosshairs.
Absolutely. Entry-level analysts, junior accountants who just focus on reconciliation, basic auditors, their manual workload is going to evaporate. And as we said with LLMs, basic writing and drafting, creating routine internal memos, simple compliance reports, first drafts of standard emails, that's also declining substantially.
So if your value proposition every day is just moving information from one database to another or generating standardized text, your job profile is vulnerable.
That's the reality. But, and this is a crucial nuance the source stresses, these roles won't just vanish. They will transform.
What does that transformation look like? How does a traditional clerk survive this automation?
The clerk doesn't get fired. They get retrained, and they become an AI-supervised role. So instead of spending 8 hours manually processing invoices, they spend 1 hour overseeing the AI system that processes all those invoices, and their job is to troubleshoot the 5% that have complex errors or fraud flags.
So their focus shifts from rote execution to system integrity, supervision, and exception handling.
It's a move up the value chain.
Ah.
But it requires new skills, and it requires them immediately.
Which brings us to the core concept for every individual listening, the hybrid worker. The analysis says that employees who master these AI tools will drastically, almost overwhelmingly, outperform those who don't.
Right, we have to stop thinking about performance improvement in these small linear terms, like a 10% gain. We're in an era of 10x or even 100x improvement. The hybrid worker isn't just faster, they operate on a completely different plane of efficiency and scale.
Let's illustrate that gap. Let's say a manager needs to synthesize the last year's sales data from 5 different countries and draft a strategic memo for the CEO.
Okay. The non-AI literate manager, they spend a week compiling the data, cleaning spreadsheets, cross-referencing currencies, and then manually drafting that memo. The hybrid worker, they use an AI agent.
And what happens?
They can analyze gigabytes of data in seconds, identify the core trends, write a comprehensive report automatically, and prepare a presentation deck with visualizations in minutes.
And they can do that not just for one project, but for 10 simultaneous projects in the same time the other manager finished one.
Exactly. They aren't just working faster, they're effectively managing a highly efficient, tireless team of digital assistants. It completely redefines what professional capacity even means.
Which is why the sources are so firm on this point. AI literacy is now more important than computer literacy.
It is. Being able to use a browser or Microsoft Office, that's just the minimum ticket to entry now. AI literacy is the differentiator. It's the mechanism for leadership.
So what does this elevated skill set, this AI mastery, actually involve? It's clearly more than just knowing how to type a question into ChatGPT.
Oh, much more. It's a sophisticated suite of both technical and strategic understanding. So first, you need mastery of prompting techniques, understanding context, tone, constraints, and how to refine your questions to get exactly what you want from the model.
Okay, so better questions, better answers.
Right. Second is sophisticated data interpretation. Because the AI generates so much analysis so quickly, the hybrid worker has to be able to read those outputs, understand the implications, and communicate them. You can't just accept the machine's summary at face value.
And what about the practical operational side of it?
That involves actually using the whole ecosystem of AI tools that's evolving so fast. Not just one LLM, but image generators, specialized code assistants, analytical platforms, video tools, and crucially, the ability to implement AI automation into your own daily workflow.
So you have to think structurally about your own job, find the repeatable steps, and then connect them with automation software.
Exactly. But the human judgment has to remain the final gatekeeper.
Yeah.
We have to understand AI's inherent flaws.
And this might be the most critical component of all.
I think it is. It's understanding the limitations. AI can hallucinate, which means it can confidently just make things up. It has knowledge cutoff dates. It has no common sense, no intuition, no lived experience. The mature hybrid worker knows exactly where the machine fails.
So the final skill is knowing when to trust the AI versus when you have to verify its output.
Precisely. If the output has ethical, legal, or high-stakes financial implications, the human must apply their strategic foresight and check the machine's work against primary sources. You delegate the routine stuff, but you retain full responsibility for the strategy and the outcome.
It sounds like AI mastery isn't just a technical skill. It's a whole intellectual discipline that blends skepticism with strategic direction and operational efficiency.
That's the new power dynamic. Those who master AI will lead. Those who ignore it are going to struggle. And it doesn't matter how many degrees they have today. The gap between the AI literate and the AI illiterate worker is going to become wider than the gap between the pre-internet and post-internet professional.
Let's shift gears now to the macro level, how AI is changing business structures and entire national economies. One of the most hopeful opportunities the source highlights is this radical democratization of entrepreneurship.
This is a massive leveling of the playing field, especially for young people and for developing economies. I mean, traditionally, starting a business required immense upfront capital for staff and infrastructure. You needed an office, designers, a marketing team, lawyers. That entry barrier was often just insurmountable.
And AI has basically lowered that barrier to the floor.
It's eliminated the need for most of that initial capital. An entrepreneur today doesn't need to hire a developer. The AI can generate the code for a minimum viable product. They don't need a marketing agency. The AI generates ad copy, optimizes campaigns, analyzes user feedback.
You don't need a designer.
The AI generates high-quality logos, branding, website mockups. It effectively acts as the entrepreneur's full support team right there on a laptop.
So AI is your designer, your junior coder, your marketing manager, your financial advisor.
Your project manager, your business strategist, all operating 24/7 at a fraction of the cost of one entry-level employee. A single, resourceful person with AI can launch a global business that just 10 years ago, would have needed serious venture capital and a dozen full-time employees.
That is a radical redefinition of global business creation.
It is.
And that ability to scale solo has to fundamentally change the future structure of companies. How are organizations going to be designed when AI is the core workforce?
We're moving toward these radically decentralized and flat organizations. The future company, according to this analysis, will be made up of small human teams managing large teams of AI agents and automated workflows.
And the human focus will shift almost entirely to what?
To setting the strategic direction, managing the brand, navigating complex human negotiations, and ensuring ethical compliance. All those irreplaceable tasks we talked about earlier.
So if AI agents are handling all the execution, what corporate functions are most ripe for complete automation?
We're looking at the near-complete automation of routine corporate functions across the board. AI will handle core HR, like recruitment screening and onboarding. It'll manage finance budgeting, forecasting, reconciliation, basic legal compliance, operations, customer service. It'll all run on AI agents.
Even decision-making will be augmented.
Heavily. AI will synthesize these vast data pools to present optimal strategic choices to the human leadership.
Okay, if we connect this to the bigger picture, what are the implications for national economic growth, for global competitiveness?
The implication is stark, and it's urgent. Countries that adopt AI early, that successfully integrate it into their governance, their economy, their education systems, they're going to experience exponential growth that just leaves lagging nations in the dust. AI becomes the ultimate competitive advantage.
Which sounds like a guarantee of significant global polarization. It's going to create clear winners and losers in this global labor market shift.
It absolutely is. The sources are very clear about the emerging landscape. The winners will be the nations that prioritize rapid digital transformation, countries investing massively in digital infrastructure, governments that are smart enough to adopt AI in public services to get rid of red tape.
And most importantly,
Youth trained in AI-first skills, starting in school. The economic rewards are going to flow disproportionately to these regions.
and on the flip side, who stands to lose the most?
The losers will be economies that rely heavily on low-skill, repetitive labor, whether that's in manufacturing or services. It'll be workers who passively resist learning these tools, just hoping the wave passes them by. And critically, it'll be institutional structures, like entrenched, slow-moving education systems or conservative bureaucracies that resist this transformation.
So the message is that education systems globally need to transform, and they need to do it urgently.
Or risk rendering entire generations economically irrelevant.
The source uses a really compelling example here. The potential for a nation like Pakistan to use AI as a catalyst for growth. How can a country, maybe without traditional capital advantages, seize this moment?
It's a perfect case study in strategic adoption. And the strategy outlined is multifaceted and aggressive. First, you integrate AI directly into the national curriculum. You train the youth immediately in practical, high-value AI skills. You leverage AI to fix your own internal challenges. Build AI-powered public services for healthcare, justice, governance to reduce inefficiency. Third, you actively foster an ecosystem of AI startups with incentives and minimal regulation.
So it's a massive national upskilling effort combined with using the tech to solve complex systemic problems at home.
Exactly. The source emphasizes using AI for things like optimizing agriculture with satellite data, speeding up the legal system, and, maybe most powerfully, reducing bureaucratic inefficiency by automating government processes.
And the single biggest goal for a nation with a large young population
Is creating the world's largest AI-enabled remote workforce. If you can quickly upskill millions of young citizens in prompting, workflow design, data analysis, they can immediately start exporting high-value services to the rest of the world. You effectively turn your demographics into a competitive advantage without needing physical infrastructure or immigration. AI becomes the nation's greatest asset.
That focus on upskilling brings us right back to the individual. If we want to future-proof our own careers, the strategy needs to be dual-focused. It's about combining the technical with the uniquely human parts of our intelligence.
Yes, the source gives a very clear mandate for how to become, professionally unbeatable. And it is a mandatory combination of two distinct, equally important skill groups. You have to master the machine, but you have to lead with the human.
Okay, first let's just recap the necessary practical AI skills.
These are the efficiency levers we've been talking about. Advanced prompting for complex tasks, understanding and deploying automation into your daily processes, and the functional use of advanced AI tools for high-value work like AI-driven research, creative design, and rapid code generation. That's what makes you 10x faster.
And the second group, the irreplaceable human skills.
These are the strategic and ethical labors. This is where your real human value is. Cultivating high-level leadership,
Hmm.
superior negotiation skills, flawless communication, deep emotional intelligence for managing clients and teams, truly strategic creativity, and robust ethical reasoning to guide what the machine produces.
So the person who combines that machine speed with genuine human wisdom is the person who can't be replaced.
Big eye.
What's fascinating here is that the societal responsibility to manage this transition is just as important as all this individual preparation. The analysis doesn't just ignore the risk of mass displacement.
No, the ethical imperative is paramount. Governments and employers have a duty to manage this disruption fairly. They have to ensure fair transition policies are in place and that comprehensive, accessible retraining and digital upskilling programs are mandatory and subsidized for those whose jobs are being automated.
You can't just leave a segment of the workforce behind.
You can't allow them to become obsolete through no fault of their own.
And what about the governance of the technology itself? Protecting workers, protecting the public?
That requires strong, proactive governance. We need mandatory frameworks for ethical AI usage across all corporate and government deployments. We need mandatory human oversight in sensitive decision-making processes, like hiring, or lending, or justice.
And on the technical side,
Key efforts have to focus on protecting individual privacy within these AI systems and actively working to prevent algorithmic bias so that these powerful systems don't just automate and amplify our existing societal prejudices.
so the core principle guiding this entire transformation from a single job description all the way up to national policy has to remain the human element.
Absolutely. Human dignity has to remain at the center of the AI-powered workplace. The goal is the automation of the monotonous so that humans can be elevated to focus on the truly meaningful, strategic, and creative work that defines our unique cognitive value. If we get that policy right, AI can deliver a massive societal leap forward.
This has been an incredibly thorough deep dive. The blueprint for the future of work. The sources make it undeniably clear. The future of employment isn't a threat to be feared, but a radical professional opportunity to be seized.
Right. AI is not the enemy.
It's the greatest professional accelerator of this lifetime. But adaptation on an individual and a national level is absolutely non-negotiable.
The primary message is clarity in action. The time to become AI literate is right now, not next year. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a student planning a career, or a seasoned executive, the integration of human judgment with machine speed is the only viable path forward.
And for you, our listener, who has absorbed all of this analysis to stay ahead of the curve, what is the final provocative thought you need to carry with you as you plan your next moves?
The source material offers a perfectly succinct and powerful mantra that really encapsulates everything we've discussed. Remember this above all else. AI will not replace you, but a person using AI will. The future belongs entirely to those who master the combination of human wisdom and machine intelligence. This is the definitive era of the human-machine hybrid professional.
A perfect place to leave it. Next time, we are going to pivot from the workplace to the world stage. We'll explore how AI influences national power, geopolitics, and global leadership, examining why AI is now considered the ultimate strategic asset for countries looking to dominate the 21st century.
Thank you for sharing these sources with us and letting us guide you through them.
And thank you for joining us for the deep dive. We'll see you next time.